If you're planning on selling your home, doing some home renovations could really help out with that home value, but there are some home renovations that will kill your resale value. So let's talk about which home renovations you want to stay away from. One of the biggest ones that I see is people converting their garage into living space, especially if that garage does not count as living space or the square footage in your area. Sometimes people think that if they convert that to living space so that they can add to the square footage of the home, that this would help the value of the home. And while you may on paper be increasing the value of the home because you're increasing the square footage of the home, you are going to be removing that garage. And so this is a big factor for many people, especially when you put yourself into a buyer's shoes. What they typically see is they go house to house when they're home searching with their realtor and they're looking at all these houses, and many of these homes will have a garage, but then they might get to your home that doesn't have a garage, and the fact that there isn't garage parking is going to stick out like a sore thumb to that potential buyer, and it's going to be almost an immediate turnoff for that buyer, as it is for many buyers, because having that garage and having that dedicated space for the vehicle is a big deal. And it even sometimes is like extra storage for potential buyers. They see a garage as more storage space, and so you're removing that potential storage space, you're removing that garage parking for their vehicle. And while it sounds like it could be a good idea to add to the square footage, what we have historically seen is that buyers will not prefer a home that doesn't have a garage, and this is actually going to devalue your home. What's up, y'all? My name is Victor with Home Sale Hacks, and we make videos every week about how to sell your home without using a real estate agent. Another renovation that we often see people try to do to maybe increase their home value that usually backfires on them is taking away a guest bedroom to add to the size of the primary bedroom. While this may sound like a great idea while you're living in the home, and increasing the size of your primary bedroom could be awesome, taking that 3-bedroom home down to a 2-bedroom home or a 4-bedroom home down to a 3-bedroom is absolutely going to hurt the value of your home. Especially when an appraiser comes through the home, one of the things they're going to knock off the value for is not having as many bedrooms as some of the nearby homes. Maybe all of the homes in your neighborhood are 4-bedroom homes, but now yours is a 3-bedroom. This is certainly going to hurt your home value. Another one that you need to be wary of is using like luxury finishes in your home if you're living like in a modest neighborhood. While this sounds like it could be a good idea, if none of the homes in the neighborhood have these luxury finishes, the appraiser usually isn't going to increase the value of the home because you have these finishes. Your home, no matter what finishes you put into them, can't really exceed the average in your neighborhood, or can't really exceed the highest priced home in your neighborhood. And so adding gold finishes to your home is not necessarily going to get you that return on the price of gold if the other homes in the neighborhood don't have the same kind of finishes. One home renovation that I regularly see, especially with home investors who are really just trying to flip a home, or they're maybe just trying to get a quick sale out of a home, is changing the flooring to carpet. This may sound like it's obviously a bad idea, but we see sellers do this all the time. New carpet kind of looks like it could be a good idea at first, but many buyers will walk into a home and be disappointed that a home has new carpet. Especially is frustrating and surprising to a buyer or a buyer's agent when you see that the seller put in new flooring and the material that they chose was carpet. There are so many options these days: LVP, tile flooring, laminate, wood. To choose carpet for a recently newly finished flooring is still amazing to me that some sellers do this. And so again, it may be one of those things that is good while you're living in the home. You know, if you as the homeowner prefer carpet for that flooring, maybe that's a great idea. But for resale of the home and the value of the home, this is one that many buyers are disappointed about. Which brings me to an important point about remodels and home renovations. Is it used to be, I think decades ago, that when you refinished a home or when you remodeled the home, you kind of expected a return on investment with a certain factor. Like if you put $5,000 into a bathroom, maybe you expected to get a $10,000 return on the value of the home. Or if you put $20,000 into a kitchen, it was kind of like, oh, this will equate to a double return on the home value. Like if you put $10,000 into the kitchen, maybe now you're getting an increase of $20,000 into the value of the home. While this may have been a thing decades ago, this is certainly not a thing anymore. There are many times where a homeowner will put $10,000 into a kitchen and maybe they choose bad finishes, maybe they choose bad materials, maybe they choose carpet instead of like tile flooring. Just because you're paying for these renovations does not necessarily guarantee an increase in the value of the home, especially if all of the homes in the neighborhood have this part of the home is already upgraded. For example, maybe all of the homes in your area or your neighborhood have modern kitchens, but your kitchen is not modernized, and now you are updating that kitchen. You can't expect the value of the home to increase more so than the other homes in the neighborhood. Again, this may sound like it's pretty clear, but many sellers try to do this. They don't have a modernized or updated kitchen, and still now they're putting $10,000 into the kitchen. They're thinking, oh, my home will now be more valuable than the neighbors. You're not increasing the value of your home more so than your neighbors. You're just bringing it up to par compared to your neighbors. Another home renovation that we see always kills home values is adding a sunroom without integrating the HVAC. And so if you're just adding extra footprint on the home, an addition on the home, but you're not adding air conditioning ducts in that room, you're really just creating a hot room, or maybe it's just a cold room if you live in one of the northern states and like it gets very cold in your area, but the furnace is not going into that room, then you're really just creating extra square footage that's not finished. The definition of finished space is that it has walls, flooring, and the HVAC serves that area. And so a sunroom without HVAC is really just going to hurt the value of your home. Another one is like using lots of hardscape in the backyard. This is a very expensive kind of update or an expensive remodel when many families or many buyers are wanting a backyard with grass. And so while you might like the hardscape idea, most buyers don't necessarily like that idea. You also want to be careful of mismatched renovations. One area of the home has like a specific kind of style or theme in the remodel, and then another part of the home has a different style or theme, maybe because it was done a few years later. And then if you are remodeling the home but you're not improving the curb appeal, you are really not using that money wisely. That first impression for a buyer is very important. You could remodel the interior of the home and it could be beautiful and modernized, but if the exterior of the home is giving off this first impression like nobody has done anything to the exterior of the home in a long time, buyers will immediately think that the home is not updated. That first impression is going to be very important. So putting money into the curb appeal of the home, the exterior, is very important. Landscaping, maybe that means doing some siding work, a flower bed on the exterior of the home. This is all very helpful when it comes to home renovations. Another great way to be able to save money when you're selling your home is not necessarily hiring a listing agent. You can absolutely sell your own home. In fact, we make videos every week about how to sell your own home, and we just made a video with a full outline, a breakdown of how to sell your home for sale by owner. You can check out that video here. I'll see you in the next one.